Hey, what's going on? Using my story once again. It's me, Samuel. We got another great podcast for you. Got my little brother from another mother to be joining us today. So go ahead and take a second. Introduce yourself, my guy.
Yeah, my name is Gabriel. I'm 21 years old. I grew up in East LA.
Oh shoot!
Yes, sir.
5 points. Having some tamales. Blood in, blood out.
Nah, more like Northeast LA.
Okay.
Yeah.
Northeast LA. Nice.
Nella.
Nella.
Yeah.
So you introduced yourself. So we're glad that you're here, man. We're happy that you're here. We can reach a little bit of the younger crowd, right? Because we usually have some veteranos and some veteranas up in here.
Yeah.
But today we got a little young buck.
Sir.
So, as you know, this community that we service is going to be mental health and substance abuse, right? So people that come in here, they share their story. They give the community a little bit of hope and relatable stories, and to show them that if you can make it and there's hope for you, then there's hope for them,
Yeah.
right? So that's the goal. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about what your struggles were. Would you say they were mainly substance abuse or mental health, or was it like equal across both?
I think before I started using, it was like I want to say like on the mental health side,
Okay.
and then from then on, it kind of led to me using.
Okay. So let's talk about your mental health first then.
Yeah.
How did that look for you?
So growing up, it was just like me and my family weren't like always stable, so we always lived with different family members and had to see like a lot of things that a kid doesn't have to see.
Yeah.
And so just grew up around a lot of like family gang banging and seeing a bunch of people fighting, arguing all the time. And then as I got a little bit older, I started to understand everything, and how it wasn't really my fault to be able to be involved in and see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you have siblings?
Yeah, I have three.
Three. Are you the oldest? Where do you fit in that combo?
Second oldest.
Second oldest.
Yeah.
So you went through everything before they did. So did they see any of those things, or were you guys already transitioning out of that whole situation when they came around?
Yeah, so I think me and my older brother were like probably seen more than the other siblings, because when my little brother, we're about 4 years apart, and when he was born, that's when we're kind of like transitioning out of that phase. I remember my mom told me how like when she was pregnant with my little brother, she told my dad, because my dad had like went to jail before when she had got pregnant, and she told him like, you know what, like that's it, like if you go back again, like
It's a wrap.
I'm gonna have to move on,
Yeah.
And so from then on, like he stopped just getting involved in the wrong things, and we started to like try to do better and become more stable.
Nice.
Yeah.
So when you were younger and you had that instability, that violence, that chaos that you were being raised in,
Yeah.
what would you say, and how would you say that affected your mental health? Was it like depression, anxiety, anger, frustration? What did that look like for you as a young man?
Yeah, so I didn't start to notice it until like me and my family were together, like finally stable.
Yeah.
And so that's when like I started to like, see all these things that like not necessarily like see different things, because my family, we try to stay out of trouble more.
Yeah.
And then so as a house, being together in one, finally stable. My dad, he was very verbally aggressive and abusive.
Okay.
So that's when like things started getting to me. I just didn't want to be around like family.
Yeah.
And then it got to a point where like I didn't even want to go out with my family to like family outings or like to like family parties and stuff like
So you
that.
started secluding yourself.
Yeah.
Isolating yourself because you just didn't want to deal with the madness. You knew the
Yeah.
outcome.
Yeah.
I've been there.
Yeah.
So, like you said, you had the instability, the insecurity, the anger, the frustration of not being able to have that and have a normal childhood. And then you talked about your dad and your mom. At what age did you start using? And when you started using, what were you using?
Yeah, so I started in my freshman year of high school.
Okay.
So I was it might have been a little bit before that. You know what's crazy? So before like I started using like my drug of choice was weed. And so before I started using weed, my older cousins, they would vape. And so I remember he would like they'll be around me vaping like it was nothing,
Yeah.
walking around the house
Yeah.
vaping. And so I remember like just thinking like it was like I want to try that, you know.
Yeah.
It just seeing like just seeing them do it, and it made me want to do it. And then, and I remember in 8th grade, I had friends that started vaping as well.
Yeah.
And then so I just wanted to see what it was like, you know, what was it about. And then eventually, you know, I tried it, and I kind of liked it. I kind of just liked the effects of it, you
Yeah.
know. And I remember like there'll be days where like we'll sleep over at my cousin's house. There'll be like family parties, and then like they'll be asleep, but they'll leave their vapes out, and that's when I'll grab it, you know, and
Yeah.
I'll start like hitting it,
Yeah.
and then when I started using, so I was in 9th grade,
Okay.
and so I was like more of a an athlete, but I also had other friends that I would like to hang out with on the side, and you know just do whatever, chill, and then those friends were like kind of like influencing me to start smoking, and then as I was around them, I kind of fell into it.
Yeah.
And I remember the first time like I actually smoked weed was with my cousin in my apartment staircase, and then on it kind of led to me wanting to try wax pens, you know, and that was like big. That was like when it started like this wax and all
Yeah.
that. It started blowing up, and that time I was really starting to get into it, you know, and then so my friends had it all the time. I had friends that sold it, you know, so
So you went from nicotine and vaping to weed
yeah.
to wax. Did you go anywhere else with it, or did you just stay within the weed and wax area?
So the majority of the time it was just weed and wax, and then there would be other times where, you know, I started having friends or hearing about people trying other things,
Yeah.
and like, you know, eventually I wanted to try those things. So other than that, I think I tried Xanax, and that's probably it.
So when you went from weed and wax and then you did Xanax, did you continue using Xanax, or you were like, nah, I'm good?
Yeah, it wasn't really like my type of drug, I
Yeah,
guess, you know, and so I was just like, so I just kind of like,
You steered away from it.
yeah.
Okay. And so you being the second oldest and you're smoking weed and you're smoking wax, did your little brother follow in your footsteps, or any of your siblings?
Yeah, so crazy thing about it is like my older brother, like he didn't really like smoke or anything
Yeah.
like that. Till he got a little bit older, like after high school, I think he started like drinking a little bit.
Yeah.
But my little brother, yeah, he kind of fell into it, and I didn't notice either because he was,
You were too high?
yeah.
I
I was,
call it what it is. bro.
yeah.
Just call it what it is.
I didn't think like someone like his age
Yeah.
would start doing it at that age.
Yeah.
And when I found out, I was like, dang, it was kind of like, I don't know.
Blame yourself.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
I did.
Because you're his example,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
So we've covered a lot in about 5 minutes. So you talked about your family history. We
Mhm.
talked about how your mom stood her ground and was like, that's it, I'm not doing this anymore with your dad. Your dad was like, all right, I'm going to straighten up. Let's just do this.
Mhm.
You guys started getting a little bit more stable.
Yeah.
Now, when you guys were stabilizing and you guys were good, that's when you were smoking weed. Right?
Yeah.
Now, when you were smoking weed, were you smoking weed to escape anything, or you were just doing it because you were chilling with your friends?
I think when I started doing it, it was at first just chilling with my friends.
Yeah.
But then like the feeling of it, the high, that was starting to become like, oh, like an escape.
So the question I'm going to ask you next is kind of a heavy question.
Yeah.
What were you feeling like you wanted to escape from?
Just the noise, you know, just
Yeah.
the noise and the arguing I heard constantly, like almost every day. My dad was like, any little thing or around the house that like it would like
Set
tick
him
him
off.
off. Yeah, and he would like just raise his voice at us and like yell at us all the time. And so yeah, I just
I'll say this,
Get away.
knowing you and working with you and just being around you, you're very timid and you're very just like soft-spoken. You're just chill, bro.
mhm.
And so it's kind of like being raised in those type of situations, right, where somebody's just constantly verbally attacking and just very verbal all around.
Yeah.
To have that type of outcome is kind of not the norm for you or for like anybody.
Yeah.
Like 'cause most people pick up the traits of their parents, right? So it's like you could pick up and you could be super aggressive and super like, hey, what's up? You come in and you're just like, hey, good morning. And your favorite saying is right, right?
Yeah.
So we hear those things. I would have never thought, man, because I've never really sat down and talked to you about your story. So this is super chill. This is super good to know.
Yeah.
So now that your life has changed and you stopped smoking weed and you stopped smoking wax, how long ago was that?
About 2 years ago.
About 2 years ago.
2.5 years ago.
And what made you make that decision?
I just felt like I've always had like just something just there was something just greater out there, and like something for me that was like calling me to do greater things, like like beyond like what my family expected from me.
Yeah.
And so I was just like I always wanted to do better and like set that example for them.
Yeah.
And be able to like take them out of the mess that they were going through.
Yeah. So elaborate on that a little bit. What would you say was calling you, and what would you say your purpose is now compared to then?
Well, at the time, I didn't really know what was calling me. I knew, I always believed in God, and like I went to church like as I was like young, but I was never like, I never had like a home church, so I would just kind of go like whenever I was invited through like family or like, holidays,
Easter, Christmas shot.
Yeah.
Nice.
And so, well, at times, not even that, honestly. I would just go with family on those days, and we'd just like hang out, like not even on those days really. But eventually, as I grew up, during we'll say like quarantine, COVID, during that time, I just started looking for like, like my purpose, It was real, and I was just looking for purpose and how to find like what my identity is, and like what I'm like called to do, what am I supposed to do, and how to figure that out. And I just started YouTubing a bunch of random videos and like on different things, people, and I got connected to a church here out in Whittier. With my mom. Well, my mom originally got connected first, and so as she started coming, my family, my brothers and my little sister started coming, and even my aunties, and I was kind of like the last one to like buy into it.
Even your what?
My aunties.
My aunties.
My aunties.
My aunties, they came too.
Yeah, and so I was like the last of all of us to actually like, kind of go and
the
buy
last of the Mohicans to jump.
Yeah, and I didn't really like, I kind of stopped, like, I wouldn't say like stop believing in God, but like stopped trusting God or like thinking he was gonna do anything for me.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I'd rather like focus on this instead and like keep doing what I was doing. And I started getting into like these YouTubers talking about like chakras and all that, like new age stuff.
I'm gonna clean my aura.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. It was all that stuff, and like, man, I was like, it was kind of weird now that I think about it.
Did you go down that rabbit hole or not?
A little bit for a season, and then that's what was kind of like keeping me from like going to church with my family, because like I started believing in that stuff, and I started like thinking that was real, and like everything like didn't even matter no more.
Yeah.
So
now you went through all this transition, and then your family started going to church.
Yeah.
Then you were the last one to jump in. Where would you say that you're at with your purpose and what you feel your call is now?
Yeah. So now I don't know exactly. Like, I don't know exactly what my purpose is, but I know for sure like I feel like I have a heart like to definitely help people, and like I know like growing up, like I never really had any like bad intentions to nobody, like never really wanted to fight, like I was just a peacemaker, I was just like,
come on, let's fight. No, wait a minute, hold on.
Yeah.
We could talk this out.
Yeah.
Nice.
And so I always wanted like just really be friends with everybody, like
Were you that kid on the playground? Was like, hi, my name's Gabriel. You want to be my friend?
Nah.
Are you sure?
No.
That's how I was.
Yeah.
And then I grew up and I went through everything and I didn't like people anymore.
Yeah. Maybe when I was like little.
Yeah.
But most of the time I was really quiet.
Yeah.
I was like how you said earlier.
You're still the same way.
Yeah. Yeah. I was like really quiet. Even my family noticed that, and I don't know why, but yeah, I was just always like that.
So, I see you even outside of work, and I see the work that you're doing
Mm-hmm.
with the younger generation, because you're young, so I'm gonna say the younger generation, and you're just trying to give them hope, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm a firm believer that we go through what we go through because somebody needs to. You got to help somebody stop and help them to not go through what you went through. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So sometimes we have to be the sacrificial lamb, and we go through what we go through.
Mm-hmm.
We learn from it. We grow from it.
Yeah.
Become better people for it. And then we turn around and we help the next person stop them before they start making the same decisions that we made.
Yeah.
So when you're talking about that, and now how's your relationship with your mom and your dad and everything good?
Yeah, I would say it's better. I don't see them as much because like I'm so busy now. But I would definitely say like it's gotten a lot better. Before like I wouldn't want to like talk to them or like especially my dad because like all he put me through. But I love him now. I kind of like I learned to like accept what happened and accept like who he was as a father. Because he didn't have that father figure in his life. So I can't expect that from him.
It comes to like the understanding, right? Because I came to the same realization from my dad, where it was he did the best that he could with the tools that he had, right?
Yeah.
And when I became a dad, I was like, okay, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to be a great dad, but I'm gonna try my best. So it's like you can't really hold them accountable for that, but you could hold them responsible if that makes sense, right? Because we all have a choice. We can I can turn around and say I'm gonna be a horrible dad. Or I can turn around and say, okay, well, let me learn from my mistakes. Let me learn from these mistakes. Let me reach out to people and try to get guidance.
Yeah.
But we have to humble ourselves, right, to be able to get to that point. So now where you're at in your life, are you happy?
Yeah, I'm happy. Definitely got like a lot of stuff going on. But it's good stuff.
You're busy like 7 days a week, huh?
Yeah.
No days off.
No days off.
That's good though.
Yeah.
'Cause it keeps you busy.
Yeah.
Right? Because idle hands, man, get you in trouble. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So now you have a support system, right? You have a solid group of people around you that are surrounding you and just making sure that you're good every day.
Yeah.
Right? Do you translate that support to your siblings?
Yeah, I try to do the best I can. I was just with my little brother yesterday for a group, and I was just talking to him about like everything. I talk to him all the time about like that stuff. Try to keep him accountable as much as I can.
Yeah.
Because I know he kind of like he's already like going down that path of like with his friends smoking and stuff like that. So I learned to accept that too, knowing that like I'm not perfect and like I can't expect him to do the same thing,
So it's like, again, we go through what we go through, so we're going to help somebody, right? So it's like you see people, especially people that are close to us, and we see the decisions that they're making, and you're like, okay, I made that decision, and this is the outcome that it came to.
Yeah.
So you try to help them, but sometimes they're not willing to listen. And unfortunately, some people got to learn the hard way.
Yeah.
But all we can do is be there to support them, help them dust themselves off, and be like, all right, bro, I still got you. I'm going to still take care of you, still love you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
So, I appreciate you coming out today and talking to us, and we talked about what you went through as a young man.
Yeah.
So when you grow up, you grew up, right, a little bit. You haven't grown up all the way. You're still 21.
Yeah.
Right? And then, your family's restored, right? Your family, your parents are together.
Yeah.
Your brothers and your sisters are chilling, right? You're doing what you need to do. You're living a positive lifestyle.
Yeah.
And you're helping people at such a young age. You're 21, bro, and you're out here serving a community, and you're trying to help out the best that you can. You're giving it everything you can, so I commend you for that.
Yeah, thank you.
So right now we're at the point in the podcast where I'm going to give you an opportunity to speak from the chest.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to say to the young man, young woman that's struggling out there right now, just go ahead and pour into them, bro. And, no time limit, no sensory. Do what you got to do, man.
Okay.
This is your camera.
All right, cool. Yeah, I actually like this shirt. I got this shirt, and this is like something I would like tell everybody out there. It says, tomorrow's dream today. And so, just know that like whatever you do today, whatever the decisions you decide to make, and everything you do today is the life you're gonna live tomorrow, and so forth. Next month, next year. So just do your best to be with the right people, surround yourself with the right crowd, because I know for sure that's what got me down that wrong path where I started smoking. I started just doing my own thing, which and led me down the wrong rabbit hole, and it pretty much delayed my time to being where I could have been a few years ago. And so I think surround yourself. Something that someone told me, which kind of like turned my thinking around and allowed myself to start hanging out with the right people, was like, show me your 5 closest friends, and I'll show you where you're headed in the next few years. And so when I heard that, I was like, it kind of like set off a light bulb in my head, and I was like, wow. And I started to really like examine like everyone who was in my circle, and so once I like just started seeing who they were, and like I actually even opened up to them about some of those things that I shared with Sam right now, and I kind of seen that they didn't really like want to do anything about it. It was just kind of like passive. They're like, oh, okay, like I was just like venting to them for nothing. And so after that, I got when I got connected to the church, I started hanging around more people there, and eventually I started going there more and more, and that was my friend group now. I separated myself. I would hang around those other friends still, but the majority of my time spent was here with other people who are encouraging me to do better, and actually helping me, not just encouraging me and telling me, but really helping me, and taking me on drives, taking me on walks to be able to spend time and pour into my life, the same thing that I'm able to do now with the younger generation as well. So
Nice.
yeah.
So what I took from that was, show me your 5 closest friends and we'll show you where you're headed.
Yeah.
It's true, man. No matter what, there's no way around that, right?
Yeah.
So with that being said, if you guys need any help, you're not alone. Make sure you guys hit the links in the bio. Send us a DM if you guys are needing help at this point in time. We'll be more than willing to give you a hand. All right, until next time, using my story, we'll check you out. Later.